collectively, I think we knew that Tom Brady's kryptonite was the New York Giants as we sit here not too far away from MetLife Stadium. Individually, I'm not sure if I should say this with a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. Individually, his kryptonite is Nick Foles. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl.
You say with a question mark, Nick Foles?
Nick Foles. Philly special, Chicago really special last night. What did you see out of Brady? This game should have been, by all measures, if we talked at this time yesterday, easy Bucs win. They continue to roll. Maybe they get Gronk involved a little bit more. Yeah, they're banged up. It's the Bears. They're a fake 3-1. What happened to Brady last night?
Well, I think you got to start with giving the Bears the respect that they deserve.
A little credit.
Yeah, I mean, a little credit. Defensively, a lot of credit. And I think when you look at Chuck Pagano and the defensive scheme and the things that he was able to do with the defense, and Khalil Mack, that's one of the reasons the Bears acquired him, is for games like that to apply pressure. And one of the problems for Tom Brady and throughout his career has been people that could create pressure to him, whether it's around his legs, knocking him down, sacking him, getting him off his mark. And the Bears did that from beginning to end last night. He was uncomfortable the entire game. So that's the reason the Bears won that football game. They didn't win the game because all of a sudden Nick Foles became a magical hero. They won the game because Tom Brady was thinking about that defensive front and getting to him and getting him off his marks and his targets. That's how they won the game.
I love you, Key. You know why? Because you can break down the game and you're on the in-depth level. You're telling me about Chuck Pagano and why Chicago has a chance to make the playoffs and how good their defense is, and Khalil Mack with 2 sacks and the pressure around the legs. For me as a fan, I just go back to, is it fourth down, Zubin? Should I hold up 4 fingers? Is it third down, fourth down? I'm confused. Tom Brady, are we getting a little old here? What's happening?
Let's run through this.
He was trying to get the fifth down Colorado thing going.
That was 30 years ago. Shout out to Bill McCartney. Okay, now you have to be old enough to get that one. But let's run through what Jay said, and then we'll hear from him. Then, Jay, obviously, you're hot on it. So here we go. If a Bears win by 1 point. If you're waking up with this morning, you may have missed the end of the game last night. Let's check out what happened and all the criticism for Brady stemming from what Jay said. With 1:13 to go in the game, the Bears are down 1. They just need a field goal. It's 1st and 10 at the Tampa 25. Brady to Mike Evans for 12 yards. Move the sticks. 1:06 to go. First down. Brady incomplete to Evans. Second down, 1:01 on the clock. Down 1. Brady checking down to Vaughn for 4 yards. 3rd and 6 with 42 ticks to go. Brady trying to get Gronk. Incomplete. Had Gronk caught it, great coverage. It would have been a first down at the Chicago 45, moving the Bucs into field goal territory. Then, 4th and 6 at the Tampa 41 with 38 seconds to go. Brady looking for Brate. It would have been a first down. And not only that, it would have been the target line for the field goal unit for the Bucs to come out to try to win the game 22-20. Unfortunately, that 4th and 6 at the Tampa Bay 41, Tom Brady thought it was 3rd and 6 at the Tampa Bay 41. He essentially thought they had one more down left to go.
My thing is, you can't run away from the video. You can't run away from holding up 4 fingers, looking perplexed, looking confused, and then having the video follow you over to the bench and seeing you actually slam your helmet down on the bench multiple times in frustration. And the reality is, Key, he was confused. He was confused. You know, now whether you say that, whether you admit that, I hear you. I hear, well, I went for a chunk instead of just trying to go for the first down. But we all know in reality that was not the case.
And the only reason why it's really like big news is because it's Tom Brady, right? If it was just another quarterback, we probably would be like, oh, man, he messed up. He thought it was a third down, or, you know, and we would move on from it. But because Tom Brady for 20 years had one ear, one sound in his ear for 20 years, and that was Bill Belichick's situational football, I'm a little surprised that Brady didn't have more command of what the situation was because of that. I mean, he's learned situational football. And it just, I don't know, maybe let me give him an excuse. Maybe he was trying to talk the refs into giving him an extra down.
You said something.
This is why it's big news, and I found a stat this morning. Brady has out-orchestrated 59 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. That's the most of any NFL quarterback since the AFL merger.
Yeah, I was never.
That's why it's a big deal.
I watched it, and I'm looking. As soon as I'm like, he's getting ready.
Game over.
I've seen this a million times. Here he goes.
The most interesting thing you said before the show, though, and by the way, the merger was 50 years ago. So think about that. The AFL-NFL merger was 1970. When you apply pressure, Tom Brady is just like every other QB. You said that right before we went out in the air, and that turned some heads.
He's just like every other quarterback. When you apply pressure to him, you think about it. You go back and you look at some of the games that he's lost in his career. Those games were lost because whether it's to the Giants in the Super Bowl, whether it was Baltimore in the playoffs, whether it was the Jets with Rex Ryan and that defense, pressure. When you get him off his mark and you make him uncomfortable, that is what you do to get him off his mark. You have to get at him. You have to be around those legs. You have to get him on the ground. And that's what every quarterback, because what they start doing is they start looking at the rush and they start looking at things around them. And he was uncomfortable all night long. You don't think he knew Khalil Mack, number 52? Every time he lined up, he knew where Khalil Mack was at.
And Key, that goes back to the bigger point I know turned into a really big debate a couple of weeks ago about, are the Patriots better right now with Cam Newton? And watching that last night, Mike, Cam just gives you so many different options and the ways to use him because of his ability to be mobile in the pocket and get out and run.
Well, look, he was without a couple weapons, right? Without Fournette, without Chris Godwin, without O.J. Howard.
The rest of the way for the latter.
Yeah, so it's kind of,
But that still doesn't affect your mobility in the pocket.
No, but what it affects you, it affects where he wants to go with the football and the trust factor.
Understood.
That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.